1 week ago on this very program, a couple of things. One, there was so much excitement about the Memphis Tigers football program. So much excitement.
You talking to me about going to the playoffs, undefeated.
College football playoff thoughts were dancing in our heads. College football playoffs. And then also we talked about it on this very show. The Pac-12 came calling.
I mean, we had University of Memphis fever.
University of Memphis in the Conference of Champions and possibly hopes of a playoff berth in college football. And now, today, that playoff berth in college football just feels like you just exploded in your face. Just exploded. And then the Tigers turned down the Pac-12.
Turned their back to the Pac.
Turned down the Conference of Champions. Turned it down. Said, no, thank you. No, thank you. We're good here in the AAC. We're good.
We're good at Conference AAU. We're good.
Yeah. What happened in a week?
I mean, I just let you know that in the world of sports, things can change quickly.
Yeah.
Or reports can not be as true as we all think they are.
Because it felt like it should have been a no-brainer. But then you see the reasons why, and sure, okay, maybe it makes sense. Maybe it's the smart move. Maybe they really have no choice but to go this route. Maybe. But, man,
I think
I would love to see the football team play somebody other than Charlotte or Rice or UAB, for that matter. I know, they're the big rival. But even them and everybody else in this conference, I would rather see Oregon State, Wazoo, potentially Boise, Utah State, San Diego State. I'd much rather see those programs just because they're different. So
I was about to say,
it's selfish. It's not like it's that great of a conference, but it's selfish of me to I want something different.
Well, here's the thing. The reason why, I understand the one something different. But at the end of the day, I think Memphis looked in the other prospective teams that are going to join this new conference. It was a lateral move. It wasn't only in name.
But it was different conference. Lateral. It was
and only in name difference in the conference. This is not the Conference of Champions. This is the conference of I don't know. But so I think you look at it as like we got to travel so much further, and what are we doing that for?
And I love watching 9 o'clock games. I love
ESPN Plus. It's still going to be ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
You're still going to be the Pac-12 or Pac whatever. They have no TV deal yet. And it just at the end of the day wasn't a good bit, and they're going to have to pay an exit fee to get out of the contract. I know. It was like at the end of the day, what type business move is that? It was not a smart business move.
How'd you get into that situation? No kidding. All right, so maybe it makes sense, but I don't know. The thought of just being in the Big 12 felt cool.
Bro, listen, I understand.
Cooler than anything they've been in.
Yeah, I mean, I understand at least being different at that level.
Yeah, and now the football team's got to win every game the rest of the season and hope for some help.
I mean, that game, that was just awful. That was a backyard. That was a game that you pick 10 people. I'm gonna pick 10 people,
and we're just gonna get after it.
Let's go out here and just get after it, man. Don't worry about stopping each other.
And you picked a couple dudes that are just better than mine.
Just a little bit. We got just a little bit more offense, not defense.
No,
one more offensive play.
Yeah, that was tough. That was a tough loss. All right, welcome to the show. Welcome to Night Court, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching us on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel, welcome. We're both on location. I'm on location. I'm in St. Louis this week. How about this? I'm in St. Louis tonight, actually, and then heading to Chicago tomorrow. I got a wedding this weekend because, yeah, my nephew, Joe, is getting married to his fiancee, Izzy, and she's a wonderful, wonderful person, except she doesn't understand. And it's probably the Chicago in her. That us people in the South, we don't get married on a college football Saturday.
You're already breaking the Cardinals' sin.
What are you?
What
I mean,
are you doing?
Georgia's playing Alabama Saturday during the reception. I'll have it on my phone. I mean, what are you doing?
Most definitely. We'll have it on the phone. Right,
So they don't understand that. But we're going to Chicago early and spending some time. Yeah.
Early toast here to Joe and Izzy.
All right. I found the only thing I could find.
That's all right. Just give them that early one.
To Joe and Izzy. That's right. Congratulations on your wedding. And I'm going. I'm going to Chicago. I'm going for a few days with family. We're going to enjoy the city, and it'll be nice. Look forward to it. It'll be cool.
Well, listen, I am still here in the Northeast, and it is we've got to the point where, as you see, at nighttime, it is time to put on hoodies and light jackets. This is my time. This
love hoodie weather. Love it.
This is my time of the year right here. So I'm enjoying a nice. But it's nice to also have some nice, good Grizz gear to keep me warm, though.
Oh yeah, and I know that time's coming because for me, that moment always feels like it's baseball playoff season.
Yeah.
That first night that I put on the hoodie, it feels like it's baseball playoffs, and it's nighttime and people are bundled up, and it's awesome.
And that's when I turn on TBS and TNT. That's when TBS. That's when I start watching college. That's when I start watching baseball. Playoff time.
That's right. And that's right around the corner here. So I know it's coming soon. So very excited about that. Anyway, this is Night Court. I'm Rob, Rob Fisher. You can get me on Twitter at The Fish Nation. Brevin Knight at Brevin Knight 22. The show at Night Court 22. And we thank you for watching. We thank you for listening as well, wherever you get your podcasts. And continue to tune in as we get closer to basketball season. And as we get closer to basketball season, Brevin, the Grizzlies had some news in the last couple of days. Derrick Rose waived by the Memphis Grizzlies. And I don't think it was surprising. Maybe if you were surprised at all, maybe by the timing of it, that it was at this point a week before camp starts. But I don't think it's that surprising, and it's too bad. I'll say this: I'm a big Derrick Rose fan. I'm glad we were around Derrick Rose for a year. He's an interesting dude, and I think a guy who brings a lot of knowledge to the game and a lot of knowledge to other guys on the team and things like that. And I liked being around him, and any chance I got to speak with him, he was always a real engaging guy and super, super cool. So I'm a big Derrick Rose fan. I'm excited that we did see a couple of flashes here and there of Derrick Rose and what he's capable of still. But the bottom line, Brevin, is every time he played, he'd be gone for 3 weeks, and you couldn't rely on getting consistent minutes from Derrick Rose. You just can't at this point of his career, and it's sad. It's too bad.
It was. Listen, he was great for this team when he was on the floor. He was great off of the floor. I thought we got to see Derrick Rose. For me, it was mature from the first time he came into the league, and what I mean by mature is just growing into himself in terms of the level of comfort to be able to express himself to other people on the team, to let them know what was going through his mind, how he thought things could be better. And so I thought it was good for our guys to be able to experience that from him, because he will always be the legend Derrick Rose of what he was able to do in his college career, what he did at Memphis, and how he broke onto the scene, and the way in which is the style of which he played the game at that point position. So I thought it was great knowledge for our guys, and I think a lot of this also, if some of the wording was allowing him the opportunity to pursue other things, and so to me, a lot of that means in terms of playing time and which way this team was going, he wasn't going to be a big part of that, and probably in any way would be more of a mentoring role. And so for a guy who probably thinks maybe he still can maybe help a team, especially a team that is vying for a championship, gives him that opportunity to do it. But as you said, it was fantastic. It was great having him around. For me to get to know him, it was from afar. I think we knew one another from basketball and being around, but to just be able to sit down and have the conversations, I think he's probably one of the guys in this short span that I had the most in-depth conversations with in terms of a player that's been on this Grizzlies team.
Brevin, what you said about him helping a team, he can't. He can't.
I listen.
I mean, and I'd hate to see him thinking that he can at this point.
Well, it all depends on what we're in terms of helping somebody. It is if you're going to be the guaranteed third point guard on a basketball team that has a chance to win in a limited role. A lot of things got to happen for him to get on the floor, but you'll be in that role. I don't know if he was even told he would be in that role for this Grizzlies team as they move forward, and a lot of that has to do with the way that Scottie Pippen Jr. played last year, but also going into the summer league. What position is Marcus Smart going to also be able to play at? Meaning 1, 2, 3 for this Grizzlies team, and so I think just roster wise, and with the young guy, I just don't think there was going to be playing situation for him.
The Grizzlies point guard situation. Obviously, Ja Morant is there. That spot is solidified at the top. he's
pretty sure
he's got that secure. But after that, Scottie Pippen currently is on a two-way. There are a couple of roster spots now open. So that could be a possibility, I guess, if the Grizzlies believe Scottie Pippen Jr. can be a viable backup point guard on a championship contending team. Or the Grizzlies are going to look and possibly look outside to find a more, I guess, established point guard that might be out there. I don't know who those guys are. I haven't done that research yet. Sorry. I apologize.
I told you, listen, see, for me,
I don't know.
No, but the thing is, you can have your backup point guard on the team all depending on lineup. If you say that you're going to start Vince at the 3, that means that Marcus Smart comes off the bench. Marcus Smart can come off the bench and be a backup point guard for you if you need it. Then you can play Ja can then come in. If he goes out at that time, when he comes back in, he can come back. And if you want to play all 3 at some point to end the game with Dez, Marcus, and Ja on the floor, then you can finish that way. So Marcus could be your backup point guard, and Scottie Pippen Jr. could really be your third guard.
Is that good though? Isn't that what for the little time that we actually saw Marcus Smart, weren't we concerned that he's playing out of position?
I mean, it was a concern, even though they had success with the way that they played. And what I'm saying is, there is for the entirety of a season, like, you can finish games that way. You just don't want to have someone play in that position every game where you are battling with guys that are bigger, more physical every night, when you can just do that in spot situations, to me. And you have a young player who showed in some way, if he comes back and plays the same way, that he can be a 3-and-D guy who has size and length, who's versatile on the defensive side. We saw him handle the ball. And then you can have Marcus be a go-to player that you can go to off of the bench, that you know you can get positive things from. Finish the game however you want to finish it. To me, that seems that it's a way that you work it. And that's just all just in thinking, how do I get the most bang out of my buck from the bench that is already going to be minus Gigi for 3 months.
Okay. I mean, I see that because the Grizzlies did it, I guess 2 years ago, even when they didn't have Marcus Smart at the time, but I guess it was when Ja was hurt and everybody was a ball handler. Luke Kennard was a ball handler. Desmond Bain was a ball handler. Jaren sometimes was a ball handler. So maybe it'll be more by committee with maybe one guy who maybe does it more, like a Marcus Smart does it more than others, but it might be by committee. Can you win? I mean, I asked that. That's really a stupid question now that I even think about it. Can you win that way? When it gets down to it come playoff time, Ja's playing 44 minutes.
Exactly.
Right?
And the thing is, and like I said, the thing is, you don't have to, the way that you start the game doesn't mean those are people that finish games. There's a lot of lineup situations that happen in the end of game that's different than maybe how you start the game. I'm just saying in terms of how if you want to, if they don't go out and get another point guard, and if you're skeptical and you don't change Scottie Pippen Jr., the only way Scottie Pippen Jr. is going to be your backup point guard is you then have to convert him to a full-time contract. You're not going to be messing with game days for a guy you call your backup point guard. So I'm saying if that doesn't happen and they don't sign someone, then in essence, he has to become a third point guard. Now you can do player by committee after that. But in terms of some stability, you would like to be able to take, if you have to take Ja out of the game, it's nice to put somebody in the game that can play that position, that understands it, not having to try to say, well, Marcus, you've been playing 6 minutes, play these next 3 minutes at the point. So now play 9 straight minutes, and then we'll bring Ja back into the game, and then you can come out. I mean, it will just make the rotation be a little bit easier also.
Right. Well, we talked about Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose waived by the Grizzlies, and it's interesting. There was a column written by Fadeaway World. Fadeaway World. I don't know if you're familiar with Fadeaway World.
Yeah, I've never heard of them.
Fadeawayworld.net. Fadeawayworld.net. They did an article. It was the players who have led each NBA franchise in assists per game since the year 2000. Players who have led each NBA franchise in assists per game since the year 2000. Derrick Rose, of course, is the leader for the Chicago Bulls, averaged 6.2 assists per game for the Bulls. Can you guess who is the Memphis Grizzlies leader?
It would be Mike Conley.
Ja Morant, 7.4 assists per game. How about that?
Mike never had more than 7, huh?
I guess not. That surprised me. Or no, second is Jason Williams, 7.0, and third is Mike Conley at 5.7.
Well, maybe because we didn't score. You think a lot of those scores, if you think was Zebo, you throwing the ball in the post to Zebo, swing to Mark, whether it's a dribble handoff or not turn the corner. We weren't a high assist team. So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. All right. Do you know you played for the Cleveland Cavaliers in your career? Do you know who the Cleveland Cavaliers leader would be?
Mark Price.
Andre Miller.
Oh yeah, Dre was
9.4 assists per game.
Dre was good.
How about that? That's pretty impressive.
He was like one of those like sneaky good people. You just turn around and be like, that dude just had numbers again.
It just kind of.
It just happened.
Yeah.
You know why? Because he doesn't do anything demonstrative.
No.
I absolutely love him. Great. I mean, you want to talk about great people. You're not gonna meet somebody with a better heart than Dre.
Yeah.
But he never talked. He didn't talk much. And then later, as we got older and later in life, now we see him. If I see him a retired player thing, he talks all the time. He just was always. And when he's on the court, he just went out there and just kicked on your ass, and that was it. And he shake your hand at the end. If you fell down, he picked you up. Like he was just always a good dude.
Do you know who the leader for the Charlotte Hornets would be?
If you would say Muggsy.
Muggsy? Brevin Knight.
Get out of here.
Brevin Knight, 8.3 assists per game. Each player on this list, they have a picture of the player. And the picture is like an action shot, right? You know, like playing the game. Right. This probably won't work, but we're going to try it. For those who are watching this episode, here's the picture of Brevin. Look at that. That's amazing.
Look at those guns.
Look at the guns, just with the Charlotte Bobcats logo. Isn't that great?
That was, remember how happy I was? You know how we have those Grizzlies, you know, the lock in the hallway in the Grizzlies. They have everybody doesn't know.
Yeah.
One of the hallways to go out to where we park, they have all of the Grizzlies team pictures on the wall. And so I'm in the first two, of course. I'm in there, and the first picture is taken. It's just I'm just grinning and happy, smiling. So happy to be in Memphis and be on an NBA team. And then the next year, it's not a smile at all. It's just just a straight.
Just miserable. Looks miserable. Looks like he's just got off the phone with his agent telling him, "Get me out of here."
That's why I got traded.
I have to take this team picture.
After the first practice, we took the team picture, practice, and Jerry's like, "All right, you out of here, bro."
because you disagreed with him about Trubansky. Not Trubansky. Was it Trubansky?
It says, all right, they traded with me to Phoenix.
Got rid of both of your asses.
Fuck out of here.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, man. Denver Nuggets. Do you know who the Denver Nuggets might be?
Denver Nuggets. Fat Lever.
Nick Van Exel. 8.3. How about that?
Nick used to be flashy with it too. And you know, I always say the left-hand players, those dudes, people that do things left-handed, for right-handed people, it's always cool. It always looks better. And he had the long arms, and he kept the ball far. Yeah, golf game is not like his basketball game, but he was good in basketball.
Chris Paul leads 3 teams. Houston,
New Orleans,
Clippers, and New Orleans. Yeah, how about that? Steph Marbury still for the Knicks.
People don't realize how good Marbury was.
Steve Francis for the Orlando Magic is an interesting one.
That's one that you didn't remember that he played for Orlando.
Right, exactly. All right, that's really the most interesting ones, I guess. Although TJ Ford has Charlotte. A terrible picture too.
I don't have to worry about Charlotte because LaMelo, I don't know if he stay healthy enough to be able to pass it. But and all of those records, like those things will get broken with the way that they score, and we promote scoring and today's game with how fast it is. I'll be down to number 2, but as of now, as for today, I'm going to take it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Congratulations. That is cool stuff. Being right there.
Feels like this Florida State game finally killed the ghost of Mike Norvell and allowed us to make Ryan Silverfield our coach, man. It's like, because it's kind of like if you're a man and you get a divorce or you break up with the girl, but your family still likes the ex, right? and you come home sometimes and your ex-girlfriend's over to the house with your mom or your sister. So like, you know what I mean? Like they're not allowing you to move on. Seems like this is the game where Tiger fans are like, all right, mom, stop letting Cindy come over here. You know what I mean? Like, that's enough.
I tweeted after the Florida State game a video of the Tigers fans celebrating, and somebody said, "Build a statue for Silverfield when we get back." Like, I'm telling you,
we love about building statues here, man.
Whatever the date was on that tweet, like a year before, if someone said, "Build a statue for Silverfield," you know, can you imagine the response that the other fans would have had to that? Look, Mike Norvell did a great job in Memphis. I don't think you can even argue that. But at the same time, like, he's been gone for 5 years, so it's time to kind of going back to what you're like. It's time to move on, right? Like,
I'll move on, man.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Last week we talked about the Memphis Pac-12 idea, and we knew that Memphis was going to come up with a decision. We talked about it last week almost in the light of it being a no-brainer as long as the finances can make sense.
Yes.
Well, seemingly the finances didn't make sense, and Memphis did not end up in the Pac-12. They recommitted to the American Athletic Conference alongside all the conference mates that the Pac-12 was trying to poach. This came down to a $25 million plus exit fee that the Pac-12 was not willing to give you much on.
Kind of in the same vein as the Navy game. Like it's very disappointing in a sense. I mean, obviously you don't want to force an issue like this and end up in a bad position. So I think if all those numbers are correct, I believe they did make the correct decision, because that's just not something financially that the university can take on.
Tune into On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right. Kwame Brown. You remember Kwame Brown, former Grizzly?
And my former Washington Wizards teammate.
That's right. Kwame Brown speaking this week on LeBron James.
I didn't hear this one. What
right,
tell me this. Yeah.
The old school players wouldn't have any trouble with LeBron because at 39, he should have developed a mid-range and a post game, and he still hasn't yet. His game really hasn't evolved outside of a three and putting his head down and going to the basket. He doesn't go like Paul Pierce, getting to a spot and pulling up. Those are the things you normally see out of a superstar player. Wow. How about that?
I think I don't. I get lost. The man has scored more points than anyone that's ever played the game.
Ever, yeah.
But he's not good. He hasn't reached the plateau of being one of the greatest because he's out of a mid-range. He scores from everywhere. I mean, and if I can just bull to the basket and get a layup every time, and then go to the free throw line and take a three, and then he plays out of the post though. He shoots the fadeaway jump shot. I mean, I don't know what game that he's watching where you say that he doesn't, just because he doesn't, his mid range is not off the dribble. Gets okay. Well, he's not Paul Pierce. Well, that's fine. Paul Pierce did what Paul Pierce did. Is what made him be great. Reggie Miller did what Reggie Miller did. That's what made him be great. I mean, that's just again. Again, here we go with these with just people saying things so that other people will talk about it. Like literally, that's. I don't know what else. I don't know what else you say. Like, how are you criticizing his scoring when he has the most points in NBA history? Come on, bro.
NFL weekend, man. What'd you take from the Shield?
I took that. The biggest thing is I looked in the NFC East.
Yeah.
And I knew when they took the Daniels kid that the doggone Redskins were eventually going to be a problem. When, how,
the Commanders,
coach.
Yeah.
I mean, oh yeah. I keep calling them that. I'm sorry, but I take that back. The Commanders. Freudian slip came out.
It's okay.
The Commanders. Yeah, that they were going to be good. But then I looked at the stands like, wow, looks like the Cowboys are 1-2.
Yeah.
Just like the G-men.
We got whooped at home 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. And now primed to play us Thursday night. Now, the only thing I think about is what happened in the first game of the year last year at MetLife Stadium. As I'm sitting there with my boys, I'm ready, got my Giants stuff on. And it's just an absolute shellacking as we are just rained on the entire game. And the Cowboys just absolutely kicked our butts. And they have, listen, you know how much I don't like them, how much I love my Giants, but they have absolutely owned us the last couple of years. And so hopefully things can change. But I'm just look down and say, people just talk so bad about my Giants. It's just, man, they're the same as the Cowboys right now.
Dude, Justin Fields and Sam Darnold are both 3-0.
Justin Fields was good. I mean,
When did that happen?
well, you know what? Listen, I think
What took Mike
do you
Tomlin?
think no. Do you think some of the momentum from the end of last season, the way that they finished the year with the Bears, with him winning, and then going into this year, it is just this continue. I think somebody said he's won 7 of his last 9 starts or something like that.
Barring injury, will Russell Wilson play again?
No. Here's the thing. Russell Wilson, to me, it got to the point where we were just living on kind of what Russell Wilson used to do. And it just wasn't translating at this point. And so I think Fields, you give him credit for playing well. And listen, Sam Darnold he just always says, it's not working. I'm going to be good for long enough here for another team to be like, oh, no, he might be able to help us. And I'll go there. And I'll be good just long enough. Know who else is that way? It's Minshew.
Gardner Minshew. Well, Baker,
yeah, yes. There's a lot of guys that it's like they're good for this amount of time, but they're not great because the great ones can be good for this amount of time.
Right. I watched Red Zone like I always do. Shout out Red Zone again, Scott Hansen.
Yes. Oh,
Shout out.
I love it.
I was watching Red Zone, but I have 2 TVs outside, and on the other TV I watched 3 of the 4 WNBA games. I missed one of them because I had to go pick up my daughter or something, and then I went over to a friend's house for a while and then came back. So I missed one of them, but I watched 3 of the 4 and was enthused watching them. They were fun to watch. Couple of blowouts, but they were good games. I mean, they were blowouts in the second half. But you've talked about it, Brevin, before about how the difference in the game today, especially in the WNBA, is the size and the skill and the athleticism that they have. And the thing that stood out to me was the girls with size, the big girls, the bigs. They are skilled.
Yes.
The skill that the bigs have. Right, exactly. I mean, they're skilled around the basket. They're skilled passing the ball. They're skilled putting the ball on the floor. I mean, that's what kind of stood out to me is how skilled they are. It was impressive to watch. It was fun. I enjoyed it. And while watching it, I started to think to myself, why didn't I really ever watch? And I think it was because when I first started watching, it was like, well, it's not the NBA. They're not dunking. It's not flying above the rim. And I think early when it first started, it wasn't as good as shooting either. And now, hell, they're shooting 3-ball like they do in the NBA. Just it's constant.
Well, the thing is, I always say with women's basketball at that time, you had to appreciate the essence of basketball, the way that they moved the basketball, the way they set screens, the way that they cut to the basket. It was because they didn't just rely on jumping over you, running faster than you. Then it was the intricacies of the game, and then you had a couple that were exceptional on the athletic side. Now you go down the line, and every team there's someone in terms of they've kept the same basketball fundamentals, but they've added the athletic side of it. Like you said, the size of the women, the bigs, the golf, the entirety of the game. It's a fun brand. It's a fun brand of basketball, and I'm like you. I watched. I had it all going. I had on my main screen. I do Red Zone split screen with my Giants game, and then I watched the WNBA games all on the iPad. I mean, and there it is. That's the dungeon setup right there, down in the basement.
Is that a blue water heater we got back there?
You see that? Yeah, you got to keep
like aqua.
Yeah, it's blue to let you know that's the water heater. So you have to try to guess what is that. And then you see the unfinished basement. Haven't put any ceiling in, and so
no.
Yeah, that's
some insulation. That's all right.
I'm definitely
with the uncovered light bulb. I know that look.
Gonna get cursed out about this one here. Definitely going to. But
It's got potential though, and it just looks like the dungeon. It should be a dungeon.
Hey, it's a man cave. It's not. It's meant for me to enjoy watching what I want to watch.
That's right.
Yell how I want. You see, that's this old dresser. They're just like,
Right.
oh, that's a good TV stand.
Yeah.
Because if I need to if I need to store some stuff, we put it in a drawer underneath the TV.
Perfect.
And you
Perfect.
can't tell. I got a futon, and then there's my table.
Wow. I don't know what else you need, really. It looks like you got a door to exit. You can go outside from there.
Listen, if I need to just get out quickly, that's just a little
There you go.
door there. I'm gone. They don't even know that I'm in or out. Is he there or is he not?
That's right. So shout out WNBA playoffs.
Yes.
They've been great. The first
Shout
day was
out.
greed. Looking forward to actually after this recording to go in and watching tonight's.
Oh,
action
listen.
as well.
The thing is, you already you already missed the New York game. They eliminated Atlanta.
Yeah, they're really good. New York's really
Oh
good.
my God! And Sabrina
Ionescu?
Ionescu. She was phenomenal tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, she came out in the second half. And I think she had like 35, 36, 9 assists. So, yeah, she was good.
She's
Now,
good.
we'll get done doing it. We get done. I got to go watch the Aces play. They're on tonight.
Yeah, because they're fun to watch too.
gotta watch
They're pretty unbelievable.
You got to watch the doggone reigning two-time MVP. Only the second woman to be unanimous MVP. So I got to watch Asia. Got to go watch her play.
All right. You got any toast this week?
Yeah, I got a toast. Big time toast here. This toast here is for Stanford football. First game in the ACC on the road at Syracuse. Exciting win for Stanford football. So I'm giving a toast. Stanford football. Great win. Great way to start off the ACC season.
I lost. I lost that bet.
Never bet against the Cardinals.
They were playing in the ACC across country. I couldn't bet, baby. I couldn't bet on them. I couldn't.
It's all a new day.
I'm giving a shout out and a toast to Hugh Freeze, the head coach of the Auburn Tigers, who once again were embarrassing themselves on Saturday as they lost to the Arkansas Razorbacks. And you remember a couple of weeks ago we were talking about quarterback Peyton Thorne, who fans were getting in his Venmo and saying that he should pay them money for losing bets. Yes. Well, he sucked so bad that they started a different quarterback this week in this lost Arkansas, and then Thorne came in and played a little bit as well. And afterwards, Hugh Freeze, just all he did was called out the quarterbacks and how terrible they were, threw them under the bus, said, well, they can't throw stupid interceptions like that. I mean, just killed them. And then everybody's criticizing Hugh Freeze. And then somebody made the point of, well, if we're going to criticize head coaches for just giving us coach speak, and then they come out and they criticize their players, why are we criticizing them for doing that? I say good for Hugh Freeze. Throw the kids under the bus because you, Hugh Freeze, are about to lose your job. So throw everybody under the bus, dude. It is that time. You are at that moment in your career at Auburn where it's time. If you got to throw people under the bus, you throw people under the bus. If it's the president one week, throw the president under the bus. If it's your running back, if it's the coach on the other team, throw him under the bus. You got to save your job, Hugh Freeze. You got to save your job. 6-6 ain't going to cut it at Auburn. It ain't going to cut it.
Listen, you better win some games. Win some games, you.
Well, yeah, you do need to do that first and foremost. But, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So, although Oklahoma only a 2-point favorite at Auburn this week. How about that? It's a little weird. Yeah.
Well, that's because they just eked by on their last win.
Well, and then they lost to Tennessee, got crushed, and couldn't do anything. Yes. So, yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us, BK. Good stuff, man. We're getting closer to the season. We're getting real close.
You drive safely, man. Enjoy that.
I will.
And make sure your phone is charged.
Yes.
This is the number one thing. Charge phone.
I'll probably bring a battery with me to make
Yes.
sure I can charge it again if I must, because I'll be watching football during the whole deal. That's part of the deal. That's
Hey, listen,
sorry, Joe and Izzy.
You got to expect that.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. Thanks for joining us. For BK, I'm Fish. We'll do it again next week. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at the Fish Nation. Brevin at Brevin Knight 22. The show at Night Court 22. You can watch this episode at the Bluff City Media YouTube channel, and you can listen wherever you get your podcasts. For BK, I'm Fish. Thank you much. We'll talk to you again next week on Night Court.
Peace.